So we're going to start in a seated position just for the first few minutes. We're going to be including elements of pranayama in this evening's practice. So as we move through, I invite you to move into different postures and add in a sense of pranayama work through the class. But just taking the first few moments, finding any comfortable seat. It doesn't have to be cross-legged, bringing the hands wherever they naturally find themselves. And either lowering down the gaze or closing the eyes completely if you feel comfortable. And just taking the first few moments to observe your body on your mat or rug. Starting to notice yourself as though you were seeing yourself sat on the mat, separate from your body. Perhaps just become aware of your position on the mat, noticing the sit bones to begin with, whether you're evenly distributed in terms of sitting right or left. And then tuning into the hands if you're sat in an easy cross, perhaps noticing whether one hand sits slightly higher than the other and seeing if you can gently adjust the feet to find a bit more symmetry. Perhaps then notice the sensation that that's brought into the hip, maybe a sense of opening or a sense of having to physically hold the position. And then start to notice how you're sat with your spine, whether you find yourself in more of a rounded position or if you can start to encourage a sense of height, a sense of lift. Stacking each vertebrae carefully on top of the other. And drawing your shoulders gently down away from the ears. Perhaps noticing a softening of your arms, your elbows, the positions of your hands. And just imagine seeing yourself sat. Beginning to tune back into your own body. And become less aware of the symmetry of how you're sitting and become more aware of the breath and the way it moves through your body. Beginning to delve into the first pranayama exercise, beginning to incorporate a three-part breath system. As you inhale, I'd like you to count to 3. And exhale, same again, counting 3, 2, 1. Inhaling for a count of 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 1, 2, 3. Taking 3 more slow breath cycles like this. And then gently start to notice as you inhale for 1, try and fill the belly. Inhale for 2, breathe into the width of the ribs. And inhale for 3, lift the collarbones and breathe into the upper back. Exhale, come down the same way as you went up. So for 1, we lower collarbones and shoulder blades. For 2, we hug ribs to spine. For 3, we draw the belly back. Inhale for 1, reach the belly out. For 2, draw the ribs wide. For 3, fill the chest, expand the back of the body all the way out. Exhale, shoulders down, ribs hug in, belly empties back. Inhale, belly, ribs, back and collarbones. Exhale, chest and back, ribs, belly. Doing that 5 more times, really tuning into the physical crooks and crannies of your body. Inviting a sense of slowing down, a sense of refamiliarizing yourself with perhaps parts of the body you wouldn't traditionally breathe into. We're going to move into our first posture. So I'd like you to start by turning yourself sideways onto your mat and bringing your cushions and things to the top of your mat, so in front of you. We're going to stack the knees onto each other. I've got my left hip. I'm not finding which way you want to start. Find what feels more intuitive for you. So what we're going to do here is we're going to fold ourselves forward. So I'm turning my hips come against cushions. If you want to, you can elevate them slightly, bring a block or another cushion or something folded under the ends to elevate them a little bit. And then you're going to twist your chest over and come straight down. And then turn your head to the opposing side. So if I'm on my left hip, my head turns to the left, away from my knees. As you lie here, I'd like you to think about drawing the breath into that top nostril. So if you're on your left hip and your head is turned to the left side, breathing into the left side of the nose. And obviously, on your right hip, we're breathing into the right side of the nose. Just becoming mindful of how the breath fills the body. Paying particular attention to the ribcage on that side as you inhale, drawing the breath into that side of the lungs, that side of the ribs. Start to draw focus. Try to keep your eyes closed if you can. Into the sensation of that nostril. Become aware of how the nose feels as you draw the air in. Feel how it feels as it leaves the body. Noticing if the air is cool or calm or hot. Allowing the body to really rest and feeling the arms soften any tension that you may be holding in the forearms. Let the cushions take and support the weight of the head. Gently part the teeth and soften any tension you're holding in the jaw. And come back to that Nadi Shodhana, to the breath moving through one side of the nose. Take 3 more breath cycles. On your third exhale, whenever that happens for you, slowly lift the head and turn it to face in the same direction as the knees. It might feel a bit broken to begin with. Really move slow. Just take another minute here. And very slowly, in your own time, when you feel ready, start to draw the hands towards you. Push down with the hands as we start to lift the chest. And then turn to face towards the back of your mat. I'm going to bring the soles of the feet together, and this time we're going to come to lie back. So again, if coming all the way back doesn't work for you, make sure you're supported. If your head is going to hang off the back, maybe shuffle down a bit, or maybe find more cushions to help support the weight of the neck. But drawing the chin slightly down towards the chest. Bringing the left hand to rest above heart center and right hand to rest on the belly. Allowing the knees to feel heavy and allowing the breath to draw through both sides of the nose. Allowing the body to feel open. Allowing yourself to draw back into that 3-step breath system our practice began with. Noticing the hands gently rise and fall. The crest of air as it falls in and ripples out. 3 more deep breath cycles here. And when you feel ready, very slowly start to draw the knee over so that you'll end up facing in the other direction. Bringing the hip again to the cushions, folding the body forward, and turning the head away from these. Noticing if you're keeping weight through the arms and moving them away so you can really soften and relax the chest down. Sorry, excuse me, all picture of my mum's dogs. Try and let the mind stay still, coming back into the tune of the breath. Becoming aware of the new top nostril, whichever that side is for you. Just tuning into the emotion of the breath. Noticing how it feels as it moves into the body. And how it feels as it gently leaves. Then noticing the jaw and any tension you're holding, and gently part the teeth and soften. Taking 3 more full breath cycles. And then slowly turn your head to the other side, moving mindfully, and take a moment to pause here. And very gently start to draw the hands underneath you. Lift the chest up. Again, turn to face the back of the mat. And just take a moment to choose any position that will fit you, to just neutralize the body for a second, perhaps moving the cushions away, coming to lie flat on your back, or taking any other posture. And then there's no rush. Take another few breath cycles. I'm just going to start talking you through it. I'd like you to find your way to a kneeling position on your mat. So if you need to bring cushions and things underneath the knees to help support them, by all means, set yourself up for that. And then don't hate me, we're gonna step the right foot forward. Charlotte already pulls her face. As soon as I say those words, it's like, no. Start to sink forward. Bringing the hands away from the knee, back onto the thigh to help keep the chest open. Tendency with this is that we always want to give our kind of 100% straight away. Don't. Pull back out a little bit. So you're only giving about 70% of your maximum. And if you can, close down the eyes, or at the very least lower the gaze. One of the biggest things that I think Yin has taught me in many ways is patience. I'm one of those that always wants to know all the answers all the time. I think it's why I chose academia in school. It gave me answers to life that I just couldn't find anywhere else. And Yin keeps teaching me that I have to give 70%, not 100. So I always have 30% kept back in reserve. It also teaches me that sensation will always catch up with me. I do not need to go chasing after it and giving 100%. It will find me eventually. And when it does, I'll find the breath to help me breathe through it. And maybe soften into it a little bit. Maybe you want to allow the hips to soften forward slightly. Maybe you're thinking, dear God, it's the last thing I want to do. Either is fine. We're going to start to find a 4-part breath count. I invite you now to start to inhale for a count of 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. In, hold for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Let go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold in for 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold in 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold out. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Slowly bring the hands down. Whee. Good. Gently start to straighten the leg. Good. And then drag it back towards you and find your way into a child's pose. Walking the knees wide. Dropping the hips back. Resting the head. The 4-part breath system is traditionally used a lot in the military for dealing with PTSD and trauma. It's also been used for people with anxiety or those who suffer panic attacks. And in the end, as in life, when we plunge ourselves into cold water and find ourselves gasping for air, if we just learn to slow down, the lack of air actually becomes less of a surprise. And more something we're able to cope with. So that in a similar mindset, when life throws more surprises at us, we're able to pause and breathe in discomfort, knowing that the air will always be there. Much like the clouds will always pass. If you find yourself feeling when you hold the exhale a bit tight and the next inhale feels rushed, see if you can just slow it down a bit or hold out for less time. Take 3 more breath cycles here. And then when you're ready, you're never going to be ready for this, but when you can, bring yourself up. Good, and then swap sides. Step the other leg forward. There's the knee. Bring the hands onto the thigh. Shuffle the foot quite far forward. Start to sink yourself into that space. Taking the first moment to find your 70% and then start to close the eyes or lower the gaze. Try and turn the practice inward. I'm going to leave you to count, but I'd like you, if you can, to build to a 4-part breath system, or perhaps a 4-4-4-2 breath system. Perhaps see if the body will soften slightly into the space. Notice the mind desperately wanting to resist. Perhaps start to notice tension in the body, the resistance, the sink. Noticing the temptation to label the sensation as pain or anything else, and see if you can just name it as sensation. I feel sensation in my glute, knee, thigh. Soften a little bit further, taking 3 final breath cycles. When you finish, try not to rush them. Gently bring the hands down. Straighten that front leg a little bit. Cool. And very slowly bring it back. We're going to go straight into our counter pose. So rather than finding yourself in another crunched up child pose, bring your cushion in front of you for me and just double it over. We're going to shift ourselves forward and come down to lie on the belly. Bringing the elbows in front of the cushion. If you've got a block or you'd like to use a block, I would typically recommend trying to use something to keep your head in a straight line with the neck, so we're not craning the head up and we're not flopping it straight down. Just inviting a sense of length into that torso, evening it out. Drawing the eyes down. Coming back to find that 3-part breath system. Noticing as you inhale into the belly, the way the lower back also starts to expand. Feel the width of the ribs into the upper back, the chest. And exhale back down. Start to really lengthen those breaths in. 3-part breath out. 3 more full, slow breath cycles. And very gently start to push down with the hands. And then lift your chest up. And find your way to seated position. Spreading the legs wide. Bringing your pile of stuff in front of you. Keep going, Charlotte. Put your mattress on top if you like. Okay. So you might need to fold them if you're going to be, depends how stiff you are. You basically want to be able to fold forward and support yourself. Don't hold tension in the feet, just perhaps become aware of whether they intuitively fold out or in. If they fold too much out, or if one folds out more than the other, so for example, if you can see, my left foot flops out and my right belly moves, so I would probably bring a cushion or a block around my left foot just to keep it in a bit so that I'm not externally rotating through the hip. Brené Brown talks a lot about the difference between courage and bravery. She defines bravery as doing an act you've done before without truly knowing the outcome. And she defines courage as walking into the arena unaware of what you're doing, with no clue what the outcome will bring. She talks a lot about the link between courage and vulnerability. Because to be vulnerable both with yourself and with the outside world that you live in takes a lot of courage, not knowing how people will respond to you, your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, you. And sometimes the thing that stops us the most isn't just the voices in our heads. It's also the way that our chest tightens and our breath feels as though it's just lifted into the top part of our lungs. So these practices, these 3-part breath, will start to become more intuitive, more natural, as we start to make more use of every inch of our lungs capacity. The 4-part breath system, when regularly practiced, or perhaps combined with, all jokes aside, embracing time in a cold shower in the morning, teaches us that no matter how long we feel that exhale pause is, we know that the air is still there around us. We know that all we have to do is make the decision to soften and gently breathe. And we'll be okay. The world needs more courage and more vulnerability in a way we've never really needed it perhaps before. Growth with ourselves and using the time to be more aligned with our values of who we are and who we want to be. But in our relationships too. Using this time and this new knowledge, if we haven't had it before, that nothing is promised. Being vulnerable enough and courageous enough to speak our truth. Maybe see if you can fold a little bit deeper, soften the body into the space. Using these last few moments of introspection, this folded forward position, to think of things that maybe you would like to have the courage to say. Parts of your life where vulnerability would take courage. And slowly, when you feel ready, begin to clear all the body up. Coming to find a seated position and just gently dropping the chin down. Bringing the right ear to the right shoulder. Bringing the chin back to the chest. Inhale, bring the left ear to the left shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, start to make a full circle, moving really slowly, rolling to the right side. All the way back, and then exhale, come round to the left and back down. One circle going the other way. Bringing the head up. Gently turning the head to the left. Turning the head to the right. Good. We're almost at the end of the practice. So I would like you to gently draw the legs together. Or creaking and cracking. Good. Bend the knees, roll over, and just find a child's pose for a moment, pressing the hips back. Softening the head down. Let the breath feel heavy where you are, keeping the eyes closed, the body soft. Taking 3 more breath cycles here, filling the back of the body, coming back into that 3-part breath system. And then very slowly shift yourself forward. Tuck the toes underneath. Come to sit on the heels. If this is too intense for you, then by all means bring a cushion on the top. It's our last posture, so take what feels better for you. Penultimate posture. Okay. Now we've thought about things that we wish we had the courage to say. We're actually going to do a little bit of work with the jaw and the face just to release tension that we hold here. That will start to give us an indication of how much time we spend clenching our jaw instead of opening it and communicating. So, raise your fingers. It's uncomfortable. I'll do it with you because I hate it. Bring the fingers behind the head. Bring the thumb to the just in front of the ear onto that kind of bony bit so that when you open the jaw, you can feel it moving. Good. Okay, close the jaw for me. Grip the top and bottom front teeth together. Pull the chin back slightly. Okay, now push the thumb in and drive it, oh my goodness me, straight down towards the jaw. Bring the thumb back up. Bring it slightly forward and push down again, working on a slightly more diagonal train. Bringing the thumbs up across the cheekbone again and driving in and down. One more time, up and across and down. Good, and then going back to the start and beginning again in front of the ear, push in and push down. If anyone grinds their teeth at night, this is the best thing to do before bed. Bring the thumbs up and down. Push in, pull them down. 40. Going up, working along the cheekbone, working your way down. And then one last time. Ooh. Releasing the arms, moving the jaw around, coming off your toes. The reason that we incorporate stretching the toes into this position is that in Chinese medicine, they believe we have 3 diaphragms of the body. The first is at the base, well, 4. The first is at the base of the feet, second is in the pelvic floor, third is the base of the diaphragm. And then we have here this root, this lock in our throat that prevents us from speaking. They also believe there's one in the brain, but we'll stick with here. So we work on stretching the plantar fascia because it's believed to help move and release tension that we hold through all of them. So, in the pajama, find your way lying down on your back for me and just bring a cushion or a block with you. Now you can choose. We're only going to spend a minute here, so you can either just rock the knees out, you can take a gentle twist. You're welcome to come into a supported bridge, bringing your cushion or a block underneath your pelvis and just straightening the legs down for a moment. And just opening yourself up, whichever variation you've taken, start to draw the crown of the head back a little bit, open up the front of the throat. Very slowly start to tuck the chin down. If you've taken a supported bridge, move the cushion out from underneath you. If you've taken anything else, find your way to Shavasana. Bring the hands alongside the body, the palms gently upturned. Closing down the eyes. And noticing the ankles, allowing the weight of the feet to rest the ankles. Noticing the weight of the back of the calves, the back of the thighs, and the glutes, and really allow them to just soften across the mat. Noticing any tension you're holding on to in the belly, the abdominals. Perhaps soften, let the low back sink down. Noticing the chest and the width of the body, inviting the breath to be smooth, slow. Noticing the weight of the backs of the arms, the backs of the hands. Let the upper body feel heavy. Noticing the weight of the back of the head. And just take a deep, full breath in. And exhale everything out. Come all the way down to ground on your mat. Start to find some movement in the toes and the fingers. Start to reach the arms up overhead and behind you, stretching yourself out from end to end. And then without opening the eyes, bend the knees and roll yourself onto your left or your right side, curling yourself up into a ball, pausing for a moment. And with the eyes closed, let's straighten the top leg, push down with the top arm, and come up from a side raised position. Finding your way to a seat. And coming back to where the practice began, bringing the hands to rest on the knees and on the thighs. Stacking the vertebrae to lift up tall. And taking a really deep, full breath in. Start to fill the belly. Expand the ribs, lift the chest and the shoulder blades, open the mouth, side or back out. Inhale, expand the belly, the ribs, the upper back, the collarbones. Exhale. One more time, fill right up to the top and hold. Take in a tiny bit more air, open the mouth, side or out. Gently lifting the corners of the mouth. Coming back to those things where you can apply courage and patience to speak what needs to be spoken. And when you feel ready, extend the arms out in front, rub the hands together to generate some heat. Bring the fingers to rest on the eyes. Blink the eyes open behind the hands. Spread the fingers, let light back in slowly. And then draw the hands down when you feel ready. Namaste.